welcome to the stage Anne Edmonds and her friend Lloyd Langford. Hello, Melbourne. Very nice to be here. How are you all? Good. I'm Anne Edmonds, if you didn't know.
And I'm Lloyd Langford.
Yes, and we are a couple.
Yep. Of loose units.
Great. So sorry to any potential suitors who have turned up tonight. This is over. Yeah, I'm taken now. Thank you. Yeah. That for me these days, by the way, is turning into men in their 60s, which is nice. That's a good development for me. And I think, they think they're sending you a direct message, but they're posting straight on your Facebook page. They're like, oh, you're pretty nifty. Here's a photo of me boat. No thanks, Roy, I'm right. And I can see your wife there. She's in the boat.
I just get people slipping into my Instagram DMs asking for jazz album recommendations.
What a catch, eh? We've been together for 2 years, is it now?
Yeah, 2 years.
But after that Melbourne lockdown, I'll tell you what, it feels like we're about to celebrate our golden jubilee.
Just time to join the Bowls Club and prepare for death.
Like, we don't have to stand 1.5 metres apart, but we like to now. A bit of distance, you know? It's healthy.
I had an audience member at one of my gigs the other day. He came up to me and he was like, after the show, he said, I know how you feel being in the Melbourne lockdown because I was in the Brisbane lockdown. Yeah, which I was unfamiliar with. Like, I didn't realise they had a lockdown in Brisbane. He was like, 3 days. I couldn't leave my house for 3 days. I was like, that's not a lockdown, mate. It's a fucking hangover.
But we're touring around again. It's amazing. Who would have thought? 2021. I know. But we're like, because we're from Melbourne, we're like lepers now, and they try and catch us wherever we go. Get them! We went to Sydney to do some shows, didn't we? Yeah,
we had 4 o'clock of the Friday afternoon of a sold-out run of shows. They cancelled the weekend of shows.
At the Opera House, by the way. That's what I like to do, the Opera House, when I go up. I'll do a couple of opera houses, go up.
Then 8 p.m. the same evening, they said, you don't have to go into lockdown anymore, and we didn't need to cancel your shows.
Ha. Yeah, I was like some sort of bitchy schoolgirl. It's like, oh my God, did you cancel? Sorry. It's like, thanks, Gladys, you bitch.
Gladys, you mole.
Someone's assimilating. Look at that.
I'm trying to adopt your culture.
You mole. But that was weird, right? I was like, that's weird. Like, between 4 and 8... like, they changed the rules. I started Googling it. I'm like, this is weird, right? Turns out that this is the rumour, right? The reason why they did it was that apparently ScoMo was in Melbourne, Scott Morrison, during those dates, right? And if they had gone into lockdown, he would have had to go into lockdown too, right? Now, I don't know if that's true, but what I love about that story is that means our Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, is not considered an essential worker. They could just put him into lockdown. They lock him up. No one cares. No one knows what he does.
I had a lot of trouble getting into Adelaide, having been a resident of Victoria. I arrived at the airport and I had a 20-minute interrogation from a guy at the airport. He was like, where do you live? Where are you from?
Who you fucking? I'm like, it's me!
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, you didn't help. Then he said to me, do you have a recent utility bill on your person? I was like, surprisingly enough, I do not. You're trying to upgrade me to a better plan, fuckwit? What's going on here? Then he was like, I gotta go and check with my supervisor, and he went off, and then he came back like 5 minutes later. He said, Mr. Langford, I have some very good news for you. You have been granted entry into South Australia. Then he gave me this raffle ticket.
What a joint.
Purple B58. If you're planning on going, find a raffle book and get purple B58. I've already answered all of the questions. Then I had to walk up to a policeman holding a gun and go, hello. I was like, yeah, come on, in you come. Who would have thought getting into South Australia would be as easy as accessing your local school fete? I was like, can I pick up my baggage, or first I have to guess the number of coins in a large jar?
Where else have we been? Oh, we started our tour in Brunswick Heads near Byron. Byron. Byron's nice. Oh, well, I did the lockdown in Byron. It's like the most beautiful place on the face of the earth, full of the worst people. Drop a bomb on it.
Anne took me to a place called Mullumbimby, to go to the farmer's market.
Have a couple of bongs.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I saw more nipples than I was anticipating.
They've been liberated up there. Good.
I like to go to like bookshops and op shops and stuff. So when we were in Mullumbimby, I found this big second-hand bookshop called the Book Barn, and I walked in, and the proprietor, I reckon he was in his maybe like mid-80s. He had like a reclined chair that he'd fully reclined horizontal. And he was just lying behind the counter. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll browse, you know, and I was like looking. And then this young hippie woman came in. She had like dreads and like a cheesecloth top. And she walked
Nipple holes. Access.
She walked up to the counter and she said, I'm wondering if you can help me. I'm looking for a very particular book on yoga. And without even opening his eyes, he just went, Madam, you are wasting your time. Delightful.
I'm like, is he talking about the book or her life? Guys, we're going to have fun tonight. I'll tell you what the show is all about, right? We're both going to come out and do some stand-up each, you know. So I'll do a lot of, you know, big moments, you know, like, ah! You know, a lot of, whoa, you know, movement, light, colour, shade, you know, that kind of thing. And then,
I'll come out and I'll talk like this for 20 minutes. This will be the extent of my movement. Anne will get you really pumped up and bouncing, and then I'll sort of bring you back down. Like a sort of comedic volume.
And then at the end, we've got our questions section, so stick around. I love the Q&As, right? A lot of people interested in our sex life. Well, how do you do it? And so what we'll do, we'll show you that, and then...
Actually, these are the worst seats.
Yeah. Oh, depending on the angle, you'll get right in there. You'll have a rough time. But before we get on with the show, I just want to tell you about my favourite thing that happened quickly during the Melbourne lockdown, which, as you know, went for a while. And about halfway through, I looked at Lloyd and I said, I think we need to see a fertility specialist. We need someone else in the mix here, because I am bored. And so we went and saw a fertility specialist. Now, as you guys probably know, when you see a fertility or any kind of specialist for the first time, it's kind of like an interview. It's general. They ask you about your health, your lifestyle, your diet, your mental health. I scored, whoa! Right? And it's just a little bit of an assessment. So that happened and we went home, right, all done. And then a letter arrived, and I love this letter. It was sent to our GP, and it was just a little appraisal of both of us after what she'd heard. And I kissed it when I opened it and read it because I loved it so much, right? So I'm going to read it to you, right? It's addressed to our GP. It says, Dear Dr. Munro, Anne Edmonds is a great comedian in her early 40s, but to be honest, she could be 35. It doesn't say that. That's a little muck around I have. Don't worry about that. That's just a bit of fun at the top. No, okay, so this is what it actually said. Anne Edmonds came to see me today about general fertility issues. Anne is a healthy 42-year-old who works in the arts. She exercises regularly. Couple of fibs, doesn't it? is taking all the necessary steps to maximise her fertility chances. Great review of me. I loved it. Tick, tick, right? There are 2 sentences about Lloyd. Nice and short and sweet. I love them both, right? They say this. Her partner, Lloyd, is 39. He drinks regularly and is unemployed. I don't even reckon you spoke during the thing. She just looked at you and went, oh, yep. I've seen one of these before.
I'm really annoyed at that as well, because actually I'm 37.
You've had a hard life in the Welsh mines. Welcome to Cougar Town, bitch.
Should we start?
Yes, let's start the show. Yes.
You going to go on first?
I'm going to go on first,
okay,
correct.
So I got time to get to the bottle shop.
And Centrelink. That's a well-trodden path, isn't it? Bottle shop to Centrelink. I've done that one. Just a vodka cruiser for the queue. Pep you up a bit. All right.
Right, I'll introduce her. Normally she wouldn't be here, but she's going to be here, so...
Yeah. Just ignore me if you can. I'll just be around, you know. Just, yeah, do whatever.
Yeah, pretend she isn't here, which I had to do a lot during lockdown. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together, go wild and crazy. Welcome all the way to the stage, the fantastic Anne Edmonds!
Yes! Yes, Melbourne. Lloyd Langford, everybody! Yes. No, we did... Yes. No, we did all right during the lockdown. We probably came unstuck twice, I reckon, during that Melbourne lockdown, both of which were my fault. Oh, you're back already.
I would just like to say twice is a gross understatement.
Get off and turn the microphone off. Thank you. No. We got other couples in, by the way. Oh, you want to talk, don't you? You do. How long have you been together for? 11 years. Nice. What's your name? Bethany and... Will. Okay. Where'd you meet? At work. What's your job? Mental health. Have a good night. Not getting involved in that. Have you seen me before? All right. No, we came unstuck twice, both of which were my fault. I am the problem in the relationship. Thank you. And it's a role I take really seriously. You know, and I work hard at it. You know, I get up in the morning, I'm thinking about it, you know. I'm angry, I'm needy, I'm wearing a wig, I'm crying in the bottom of the shower. I work hard. Have we got any other problems in the relationship in? They've already stormed out for no reason. Just out the front going, yeah, well, maybe I don't want to laugh tonight, okay? No, it was boring, that lockdown. The first time we came unstuck, right, was a day on which I decided to walk everywhere like this. Boring, slow, only fun for one. Bit like our sex life.
Fair enough.
The second was a day on which I could not stop saying the words, arancini ball. I was annoying myself. It was compulsive, you know, when that happens, I couldn't stop. Arancini ball! It's actually quite a nice thing to say. It's quite a good thing to have in the mouth. The arancini. Like, we can try it now if you want. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Got you on camera doing that. No, I couldn't stop, and I was being really annoying. I was answering every question like that. You know, Lloyd was like, do you reckon I'll ever get back to the UK and see my family again? I'm like, arancini ball? And I reckon he laughed at about the first 20. And then he looked at me and said, if you fucking say that again, I'm going to leave. I'm like, oh, they're always threatening to leave. Good luck when you're only allowed out of the house for an hour. I'll call the cops. He left at 10:45, constable, in a disgusting tracksuit. He'll try and tell you it's a milk stain across the front, but it's not. So he was like, stop it. I was like, okay, I will because I love you. Then I was just in the bedroom with the door closed going, arancini boy! Arancini boy! He's like, what's going on in there? I'm like, nothing. I'm talking to my friends. Anyway, we almost got through the day. We almost got there. But then at about 6 o'clock, he came into the bedroom, opened the door and looked at me, right? And he just said, hey, what do you want to have for dinner? I was like, oh, come on! What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? You know, and I had other options, pork, veal, lasagna. But it was like some sort of primal scream. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, ah. Arancini pool! Across the rooftops of Brunswick. Just all these people in lockdown just like, oh, yum. Apparently sales went through the roof. I'd love to think about what the other people in the apartments we live in made of that, like our neighbours. You know, because we're all in there, we're all trapped. And one by one, I just saw everyone go crazy, like lose their minds. Like I saw a guy come running out of his apartment at one point, just in his underwear, and start chasing a magpie around the tiny patch of grass we have at the front of the apartments. Just going, come on, mate. Come inside. What about a chat? I'm like, oh, number 7's gone. Cross him off, Dal. So I screamed arancini ball, and he just looked at me and goes, that's it. That's it. I'm leaving. I can't take this anymore. It's too much. You're too much. I told you not to do that. I'm leaving. Right, and stormed out of the house. Storming off down the street. I was like, no, what have I done? So I ran out there. I was running off, chasing him, and I was like, Lloyd, I'm sorry. Lloyd, don't go. A lot of people with a lot of strong opinions during that Melbourne lockdown, and I don't want to hear any of them. Shut up! I spent a lot of time on my local council Facebook page during the lockdown. During a real low point, I was on a page specifically dedicated to bins. You know, bin collection times, fun bin stuff, bin jokes, bin memes, bin puns, rubbish like that. Anyway, I was deep into this post about the rollout of a new green lidded bin, right? Organic bin, not even compulsory, this bin. You don't even have to have it. People are losing their minds. They're like, no green bin! I refuse to take on the green bin. I've just been out the front and measured the space for bins. This is a tripping hazard. You're now liable. This isn't China. Links to human rights organisations, right? It was insane. I get halfway down the post, right, and there's a guy, he's come in out of left field. His name was Gene, just off topic with a nice opinion, not even bin-related content, this guy. Comes in halfway through, he's just like, you know what I reckon? I'm like, oh, hello. Yummy. He's like, you know what I reckon? This is what he said. I reckon anyone caught breaking quarantine rules during the Melbourne lockdown should be publicly bashed live on the television. Hello, what have you said? What? 735 likes. From the bin community. They love it. They cannot get enough of this guy. They're like, 100%, make this guy PM. Yes, Gene. They loved it. I was like, what are you doing just agreeing to that in the middle of your day? Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, what'd you get up to yesterday, Kelly? Oh, yeah, I got up, took the kids to school, then I did Pilates, then I agreed to the return of corporal punishment in Australia on Facebook. Then I had lunch with the girls. Yeah, La Paqueta, underrated! What are you doing? Like, do you think, Dan Andrews is going to be there at his press conference? You know, just being like, look, I want to thank each and every Victorian for the commitment and the sacrifice they're making. The numbers are coming down and we will get through this together. Right. I will now move on to the public bashings. I've got Sandra here. She was caught not wearing a mask in the Lilydale Coles. And I just want to clear up something from yesterday. Yes, women will be bashing women and men will be bashing men. We are equal opportunity bashers here in the state of Victoria. Sandra's just there going, no, please, please. I'm a single, I didn't know. I'm going out of my mind. I've got these kids. She's like, no, I'm sorry, Sandra. But in accordance with Jean's legislation on Facebook, you will now be bashed. It's like, is there anything you want to say before we get the chief bashing officer out here? And she's like, yeah. I want to say to each and every Victorian, I will never take on the green bin. So, you know what, bash her. Before I was seeing Lloyd, I was going through a bit of a rough patch. I've been rejected by 2 single dads in a row. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? Apparently, if you get rejected by 3 single dads in a row, you get a telegram from Shane Warne. It's more of a text message, a couple of piggies. It's like, how high is the self-esteem on these single dads? Like, what are you rejecting me for? I'm on the television. I just feel like single dads have got a very different idea about themselves or way of seeing themselves to single mums. You know, I've got a single mum friend, you know, and she's like, you know, this will be it for me for the next 10 years. I'll just be looking after these kids. There's no time for relationships. No one's going to want to take this on. I'm like, that's not true. Single dads, on the other hand, they're like, nah, I've got this new leather jacket, this motorbike and this fish I caught. Swipe right! I'm back, baby! They don't think they've got any baggage. They're like, yeah, I'm just a fun guy in my early 40s. Yeah, a bit chubby. Got a couple of little ones. I mean, their mother, Sharon, will always be in our lives. She's the mother of my children. I mean, she cleared me out in court, fucking bitch! So we will always have to live in Bendigo. We'll probably have a holiday in about 2028 and available to do stuff every 3rd weekend locally because she took the car as well. Bitch! Yeah, so I'm probably looking for about a 25-year-old. Great body, yeah. Laid-back attitude. You will never be their mother. And it'd be great if she had her own V-line card. I just feel like single dads should have to crawl around the floors of bars begging for pussy so we all know who they are. That's all. Bit strong. All right, Before that, I kept being with guys who wanted to be in open relationships and, like, do all this kinky stuff. I'm like, I don't have time. I'm flat out. Like, the sex I like to have, I call it normal style. Sorry. It's just a man and a woman like that, you know? And they look into each other's eyes and he never leaves. I never forget, I was seeing this guy once. There was a knock at the door. I opened it. He was standing there with a large bottle of olive oil. I'm like, oh, what are we doing? We're having a fry-up? Great, I've got some sausages in the freezer. I'll put them on the defrost. And he said, no, I thought we could rub this all over our bodies and have sex. I was like, all right. You know, because I'm a people pleaser, always have been. So the next thing you know, I'm nude, like kind of with bad posture like that. And like a disinterested mouth, kind of a gaper, just like... rubbing olive oil into my own body, just like, is this what you want? Do you like this? Is it good here? Like it's sunscreen, like we're going to have a game of netball or something. Then we just had the worst sex of all time. It was so greasy, I couldn't get a grip on anything. I kept shooting off the bed head first like a seal, writhing around on the ground. I was like a rat being sprayed with the hard spray of the hose. I was flipping around down there. Very degrading. Anyway, when it was over, I tried to put it behind me, you know, wash the sheets. I tried to move forward. And I almost did, except 2 weeks later, I was in Sydney and a friend of mine turned up in Melbourne needing somewhere to stay. I'm like, oh, my apartment's empty, get in there. I'll send my mother around to change the sheets. A week after that, I had the worst conversation with my own mother of all time. She's like, "Oh, Anne, I don't know what's going on with your sheets. But I got a set out of the cupboard and they were just covered in huge stains. Couldn't work it out. Looked like oil or something. Could not work it out. It was as if a man had covered himself in oil and rolled around on the bed. Couldn't work it out." I'm like, "I think you just did." It's like, "It's not me, Mum, it's the washing machine. It's broken, there's something wrong with it. It just wants to go on normal cycle. Everyone keeps putting it on whiz-bang fancy cycle and shoving their load in and leaving. It's broken." We got any fans of reality television in? Yeah, a couple. Thanks for admitting it. A lot of people won't, especially in Melbourne. They're like, "No, I'm more of a book person, yeah. History, philosophy, always in the State Library." Yeah. And then they're just in the toilet checking maths updates, just secretly like, "Fuck you, Bryce." Oh, so more people watch it than we're a bit. Okay. There we go. I was in a reality TV show a couple of years ago called the Real Dirty Dancing. And look, that there gives you an idea of the ratings, actually. Not Channel 7's best moment. It was just the weirdest show. It was such a weird... I'm triggered. I'm not okay with it still. The concept of the show was, people love the movie Dirty Dancing, so let's get 10 C-grade celebrities, fly them to America, right, and make them live in Kellerman's Resort in West Virginia, where the movie was actually filmed, dress them up as characters from the movie until they don't know who they are anymore, right, make them dance for 12 hours a day, give them access to an open bar until they slide down a wall screaming out, "Nobody puts Anne in a corner!" It was so weird. It was like a fever dream, like a movie inside a TV show, inside a reality TV show. I didn't know what was going on. And there was this weird competition element as well. It's like, let's see who can carry the most watermelons out of former Olympian Stephanie Rice or comedian Ann Edmonds. Surprise! It's Stephanie again! What does she win? The chance to be held above the head of a football player when we get back to Sydney. What? What is this show about? I'm in it and I don't understand it. But I did it, because I love the movie. I wanted to see where it was filmed. I couldn't say no, right? But if you had said to me as a teenager after watching that movie, "You know what, Anne? One day, you'll be scaling the perimeter of Kellerman's Resort in a golf buggy with former Pack to the Rafters star Hugh Sheridan, desperately trying to find a hole in the fence at midnight to escape through." I would have said yes, but will Jamie Jury also be there? And happily he was. But we got paired up for the final dance, right, which was in this barn. Weird. They got a barn and filled it with people from the West Virginian hills who were apparently super fans of the movie. But they were a bit like, "I done seen some dancing. I done got a free meal. This is my wife and my cousin." Like, they weren't right. They're all in there, right? Okay, so Jamie Jury and I take to the stage, right, to do this big final dance. Now, guys, I'm not the world's best dancer. I can admit it. Like, I'm dancing now. You're like, there's a lady moving around on stage. You can see, you're not feeling anything, in your heart. It's just like, but what I do have in my arsenal and what I'm not afraid to use is my face. And once I throw that in the mix, hello. Now you're like, this bitch can move. You're up here, you're not down here anymore. Woo! The crowd's going wild, right? I've never had a reaction like it. The song ends, I spin up in the air, land in the splits. Bang, never done them before. Finally at Jamie's height. Crowd's on their feet. Craziest reaction I've ever had. I said to Jamie, "I think we've won this." Right? It was crazy. I walked to the top of the stage, Todd McKenny's there. I love this man. Truly one of the greats, so funny. He's checked out, he's long gone. He's like, where are we? I'm like, Westfield. I don't know, mate. Right, he's there. He's like, oh, that was good. He looks out at this audience, adoring fans. He goes, guess what, guys? Anne's a comedian. I'm like, no, Todd, stop. Stop. Then he said, no, come on, Anne. Why don't you tell him a joke? I'm like, no. That's like saying to a butcher on his day off, you better cut up this pig or get the fuck out of my barbecue. So suddenly I'm on the spot. I've got a microphone in my hand. I'm looking out at this audience. I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm panicking, right? So I go the easy road, first of all. I go, hey, guys, who loves the movie Dirty Dancing? They're all like, yeah, we do. And then I said this, and I still don't know why. And I have to think about it every day. So I looked out at this audience and I just said, yeah? You want to know what my favourite part of the movie is? They go, what? I said, the abortion! Oh. It was like a wind went through the audience. People's hair standing on it. Someone's got a pitchfork. I'm like, oh no. Todd McKenny's like, oh, you fucked that. He's out of there. Jamie's furious. Thought we'd won. He looks up at me and goes, you're fucking joking, aren't you? Runs off into the night, legs pumping. Just there with this audience coming in on me. I'm like, no, what am I going to do? No. I was like, Jamie, don't go. Guys, do you want to see the best Welsh comedian working in Australia at the moment? It really is. Top 5, it's the best. You guys are going to love him. I love him. Let's get some love in here and crazy screaming. Welcome to the stage, Lloyd Langford.
Hello. I like to point out at the start that this is my voice. Not a voice I put on for comedy. Genuinely how I speak. Lots of drawbacks, obviously, if you sound like this. I can't rap. I'm like, oh, yeah, I've got lots of hoes in different area codes. Sound like a regional manager for a chain of garden centres. You can't talk dirty with a voice like this. Believe me, I've tried.
Wish you hadn't.
If I'm like, oh, yeah, you're really wet. Just sound like a disinterested lifeguard. Had a recent incident just before Christmas. Anne and I, we got invited to a barbecue around some of Anne's friends' house. Like, there were lots of comedians there, people in the arts I didn't really know. And I arrived at the barbecue, and they got a little girl, like a little toddler. And when we arrived, she's like, oh, well, someone play with me? And I was like, yeah, okay, like, I'll play with you. So me and her playing hide and seek, right, for, I would say, 45 minutes. Too long. But they love repetition, you know? And then I was like, oh, I'm going to go and chat to the adults now, you know, and say hello to everyone, have a drink. And then I sat next to Anne, and I was, like, chatting to people. And then the little girl, she walked up to her mum, and she started a conversation with her mum that I don't think she wanted me to hear. She pulled on her mum's T-shirt, right, and her mum looked down at her. She looked up at her mum, and she said, Mama, why can't I understand that boy? It was a real blow to my self-confidence. I thought we were having a fun old time together. No, I was unintelligible for the duration. Also, obviously, hide and seek takes on a far more sinister overtone if you cannot understand the other person. I thought we were playing a game. No, I was chasing a terrified child around her own house. Every time she thought she found refuge, I'd find her, and then the cycle would start again from the beginning. Basically the plot of every horror film. felt bad then, at the barbecue. I was like, I don't know these people, and I need to kind of assert my status, So there was nothing to do, though. All the food was cooked, all the drinks were chilling. I was like, I panicked. I said, I'll take the dog for a walk. They were like, what? I was like, yeah, the dog, I'm taking him for a walk. And they were like, okay, cool, yeah, he does need to go for a walk. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take him. Slight problem for me, it was a breed of dog I'd never encountered before. It's called a Bernese Mountain Dog. Yeah, like a unit. Large dog. Yeah, if you're unaware of the Bernese Mountain Dog, they initially bred them in Switzerland to pull carts. Yeah, traditionally the job of a horse. If you're more of a cat person than a dog person, don't worry, I've done the maths. A Bernese Mountain Dog weighs approximately 17.2 cats. Just to give you a sense of scale. It doesn't work the other way around as well. Like, you're not going to get, 17.2 cats to pull a cart. Your fucking cart's going nowhere, mate. You can have 17 cats very confused while you've harnessed up 0.2 of a cat. Anyway, the dog's called Albie, right? And I walk him to the park. Takes about 15 minutes to get to the park. Then we're walking around the park for about 20 minutes. After about 20 minutes, I'm like, right, come on, Albie, time to go now. And he just flops down onto the floor. I'm like, come on, Albie, we gotta go. And he's not moving on the floor. Oh, I was like, I don't know what to do. First thing I did was I grabbed his lead and I tried to pull him up off the floor myself. But every time I pulled on his lead, he would bite my arm. Yeah, he would bite my forearm. In a playful way, but I knew there was a potential for danger. If you're on a first date with someone and you go back to their house and they're like, fist me. You're like, I'm still within the boundaries of my comfort zone. Very soon I feel like I will be in peril. I can't pull the lead. I was like, I'll use reverse psychology. I was like, goodbye, Albie, I'm leaving now. I walked for 10 minutes and then I walked back for 10 minutes and he was still in exactly the same position. Yeah, then I didn't know what to do. What I did next was I decided to lie down on the floor with Albie and try and utilize his body heat for the impending nightfall. I gave up. It's just me and Albie on the floor now. He's very much the big spoon in the scenario. Then I get a phone call from Anne, and she's like, where are you? You said you'd take the dog for a walk. You've been an hour and a half. I was like, we're at the park still. He refuses to get up off the floor, and I just lay down on the floor next to him. 2 separate men have come up to me to ask me if I'm okay. I am not okay. Then they had to send someone from the barbecue who the dog respected. Not even one of the owners of the dog. Another guest at the barbecue who over the course of the afternoon had established sufficient hierarchy between themselves and a fat Swiss dog. Kath, she arrived at the park and she just goes, Albie, get up off the floor. And he just got up off the floor and just ran towards her. And I was like, why does nobody respect me? Yes, Kath, I will also get up off the floor. Then I had to walk back to the barbecue and tell everyone what had happened. And I got given a treat for being a good boy. Yeah, I've had a tough 12 months, living with Anne. She's an absolute fucking nightmare.
Can cancel your visa at any moment.
She started doing this thing during lockdown where we would be in bed together and she would ask me hypothetical questions. I remember one night she turned to me, she said, would you still love me if tomorrow morning I woke up and overnight I'd grown a full beard? I was like, yeah, of course I would still love you, you know, but I think the beard might take like a period of adjustment. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, you know, you're in like a long-term relationship with someone. There's certain things you factor in as possibilities, you know, like illness or maybe unemployment, maybe even infidelity, you know, but you suddenly going like sort of instant Hagrid. Never really anticipated that. Then she said to me, so, would you mention it? I said, if we woke up tomorrow morning, I looked over at you, and overnight you'd grown a full beard, let me be frank. That would go to the very top of my agenda. No one's looking over the next day and going, oh, maybe I better wait until after breakfast. I'm gonna need some toast in my tum-tum before I tackle this. And after breakfast, you're like, oh, I've left it too late now. Feels awkward to bring it up at this stage. Just gonna have to style it out for the remaining 40 years. Then she was like, how would you mention it? I was like, I'd ask you what you thought of my beard. And I hope you'd ask me the same question. I don't care about hair on a woman or another person. It's none of my business, you know? Like, there's nothing to do with anyone else. Like, your body, your choice, you know? You do what you want. Like, even a monobrow. I think fucking go for it, you know? I believe what God has joined together, no man shall pull asunder. And if your partner suddenly started looking like Karl Marx, you know, like it would take a bit of getting used to. Then she was in a huff, and I was like, oh, fuck, okay. I'm gonna try and win this argument that I don't want. I said, here's a question for you. Would you still love me if overnight I just grew like a big old pair of titties? Real sort of floppy 1970s style wobblers. Pendulous tatas. Would you still love me then? She said, yes, I'd love you exactly the same because I am not a narrow-minded individual. I was like, how the fuck am I losing this argument? She's angry at me at my reaction to a beard she doesn't have. I thought I would still try and win, though. I was like, oh, I forgot to mention there's a problem with my breasts. Apart from their ginormity, they leak constantly. Malt vinegar. Very rare medical condition. You know, sort of perpetual dribble out of the nub end. I believe that's the term. Would you still love me knowing I had the constant production and aroma of vinegar about my person? She thought for a second, then she went, yeah, if I had chips. Anne was correct when she said at the start of the show that we trying to start a family together. This was a decision that was made during lockdown. And because I'm 37 years old, or 39, if you speak to our fertility doctor, they decided I should go and get my sperm tested. So that was my main achievement during lockdown. I got my sperm tested. Yeah. Like, by a professional. Not like a passing hobo. Yes. Now, where's my $50? Don't know if anyone's ever had their sperm tested, but I arrived at the clinic, and there's a corridor there. There's like a row of 4 guys as well, also there to get their sperm tested. Not to help me out. This is going to be the best goddamn sperm test of all time. One each on a nipple, one on the bumhole, one just working the shaft. You'll be in and out of here in, I reckon, 30 seconds. There's an atmosphere between them. It's frosty, it's awkward. No one's talking to each other. They're not maintaining eye contact, you know. I figure I'm a comedian. Maybe I can loosen the vibe up, you know, break the ice, like ask them a question, be like, are you guys horny? Or you're just gonna sort of freestyle it, you know, when you get in the room. What's the game plan? And then a nurse came over to me and she was like, please stop talking to them. Come over here, I need to explain to you what you need to do. Here is a specimen jar, that's where you leave the sample in there. Also, here is a form you have to fill out after the event. And I was like, oh, if you don't mind, there's a few guys here, like in the queue, like in front of me. I'll fill out the form now. She said, no. It has to be done after the event. I was like, okay, cool. Normally, though, like after the event, you know, like I like to sleep or cuddle. Like after the event, I'm not thinking, admin time. No one ejaculates and then it's like, finally, the tax return. I just filled in one box, what's 100 more? Then it was my turn. I got to the threshold of the door and of the room, and I'm thinking, how long do you spend in the room? They don't tell you. You know, I thought, like, you can't be, like, in and out in, like, a couple of minutes, you know? Like, it'd be embarrassing, you know? If you finish before the door's properly shut behind you. I thought also, though, you probably can't take, like, half an hour, you know? Really treat yourself. 30 minutes of solid foreplay. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm just gonna be strumming my own nipples here for the best part of half an hour. Actually, I hope the bottom of this jar is strong, because I'm gonna go clean through it.
Jesus Christ.
It's gonna be like a milky javelin. Or a bolt of lightning made of custard. I get in the room. Now, I've been led to believe by the media that there would be pornography in the room, right? You know, you see it in films and television programs and stuff. There's pornography in the room. There's nothing in my room, right? The room is empty. Only thing in the room, there's lots of cupboards. I'm thinking, oh, maybe this is like a classier establishment, and they've sort of archived the pornography. I'll open these cupboards and there'll be like an avalanche of smut. But no, there's nothing. I'm going through the cupboards like a horny Goldilocks, and the cupboards are bare, you know? The only erotic thing in the room, there's a photograph on the wall of a lady. She's lying on a bed like this, face down, and she's kind of coquettishly looking over her shoulder. I can't really do the face. I'll try again. Her back is like she's naked up top, but the back, you can just see her back because she's lying face down, and then she's got like a silk sheet that's like pulled all the way up to like there. Like the top of a bum crack. Yeah. That was it. I was like, I saw more than this on the walk to the clinic. Like not even a hint of anus, right? Nothing to work with. Also, the photograph was in black and white. I was like, I cannot get hard to the past. At this moment, it made me realize, like, having your sperm tested in one of these clinics is kind of like an escape room, but you can only leave once you've masturbated. A top tip for you, actually. A normal escape room works to the exact same principle. Yeah, if you're ever in an escape room, stuck on a particular puzzle, just main eye contact with the camera, slowly start rubbing one out, and the emergency exit will automatically open. You'll gain a Hall of Fame time. And also a lifetime ban from all escape rooms. I think that's been enough from me. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome all the way back to the stage with the questions. It's Ann Edmonds!
Yay! Lloyd Langford, everybody! He's all right. Yes, we have the questions here. A few interesting questions. I got this one straight away off the top, Lloyd, that I thought you might like to read out. I was just having a look through them. I thought that was a good starting point for the show.
Lloyd, not a question, but I just want to thank you for giving people like me hope because you are clearly punching above your weight with Anne.
Who wrote that? Hi. See me out the front.
It actually looks a lot like your
No,
handwriting.
it's not. All right, Sean, are you here? Yes? Yeah. Oh, yes. Where are you? Up there.
Oh, he's up the back there.
Oh, okay. Hi, Sean. How you going? Sean says, what are your pet names for each other? The Welsh Whitman? No, that's wrong. I'll say something else. No, I think I just call you Cutie Pie or whatever.
Yeah. I call you Visa Pass. Meal ticket. Bit of fun.
Elmac says, what do you do to keep the spark alive in your relationship? Thanks, Elmac. Look, any hole's a goal.
This is why we keep having problems in the fertility meetings.
She's like, in here! Like, how many times? Drawing diagrams? Like, come on, just get in here! This one.
I went for a massage once. It's kind of pertinent to this question. In Pattaya in Thailand.
Great.
And
This is the time to tell me about it, for sure.
I was like lying face down on the table and the lady was like rubbing, I'm very oily. And
Can confirm. Body of a seal belongs on a rock.
I'm oily because of the massage oil. And as she's massaging me, she drags a finger over my bum hole.
Oh.
Yeah, just like a light... I would describe it as a light goosing. Just a tickle, a tweak of the anus.
Yeah, okay.
What I think has happened is like she's massaging me. She's built up too much momentum on my back. She's going too fast. She just follows the path of my spine and then she's kind of channeled into my bum cheeks. If you think about the topography of the buttocks, it's like a valley and she's been sort of guided down the centre of it. And then she sort of had to commit. The sides are too steep to bail out and she's had to...
Like an FPOS card, straight through.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I thought, this is awkward, but like I'm not going to mention it. I think it was an accident. Also, there's a language barrier, obviously, because like she's Thai and I sound like this. I'm not mentioning it. The massage will go back to normal. And the massage, it went back to normal for like, I don't know, like 90 seconds. And then like a minute and a half later, I had a finger up my bumhole.
Knuckle deep.
Yeah, the full thing. Yeah. Oh, I gotta say as well, not my own. I wasn't suddenly thinking, I know I can put a stop to this. I think you'll find that is checkmate. Do not mess with the little teapot. Yeah, she put her finger up my bumhole and then she said, would you like a special massage? I was like, I'm not gonna lie, this is already the most special massage ever.
Oh. Interesting. Margaret, Any advice for toilet training our daughter? I hate to think about your living room while you're here, so just leave it there. I don't know, it'll work out. How old's your daughter? 25.
Yeah, Margaret's got bigger problems.
No, don't ask me. I shit my pants as an adult the last time.
Something I've never done.
Well, I have. It was about 7 years ago, I think. Yeah, I think it was. Anyone here remember the last time they shit their pants? Yep.
Bali. I think it's Chappelle Corby.
I'll tell you what happened to me, right? Basically, what happened was I moved in with this guy too soon. Like, we were still in the honeymoon period when we moved in together. Like, I just didn't want him to know I ever shit. That's all. You know that, lady. Like, food went in, I just didn't want him to know it ever came out.
I wish you'd show me the same courtesy.
It's like a mystery. Where's it going? I don't know. Anyway, we were living in this tiny apartment, you know, like these new stupid apartments, thin walls, and like I just felt like he could hear everything that was going on in the bathroom. I was getting into a real state. So at this point in the story, I hadn't been for a couple of days. Yeah. I was backed up. I was up to pussy's bow. I can't believe I'm telling this on the television. One morning he said to me, would you like to go for a lovely romantic walk together through Royal Park, which, as you know, big park, not many facilities, big area. Anyway, I was walking along holding hands with this boyfriend. All of a sudden my body just went, oh, yeah, no, that's coming out. Fuck off, we're full. And I turned to this guy who I'd only been with for a month at this point and just went, I think I'm going to shit my pants. He goes, what? I go, yeah. I'm going to shit my pants. He said, I'll never forget it. He goes, do you need a hand? What are you going to do, rub my back? It's like a dog looking for somewhere to go. I was like doing circle work. I was like backing up on things. And in the end, what I did was, and I really don't know why to this day, I did this. I just kind of walked and put my hand on his shoulder like that. I don't know why. And I tried to maintain eye contact. I thought that was important. And I was just like, oh, I'm sorry. It's happening now. It's happening now. I'm sorry. Oh, it's happened. It's over. Arancini Bona. Anyway, we were together for 5 years after that, so...
Thank you for sharing that beautiful story.
What else is in there?
Do you find couple showers romantic or a nuisance?
I'm not into it. I feel like it's a bit like a threesome. Like there's always someone like wet and left out. Just like, trying to get in, just like... Bit cold out here. Soaked up and trying to get in. Oh, actually, one of the first holidays we went on, we went to New Zealand.
Oh yeah, in Martinborough.
And we had one of those hot tubs, but like a big proper outdoor one, you know, it's like a barrel almost,
Yeah.
isn't it? And on the first night, you just got in there naked, quite presumptuous, just like. And then, but then I looked at that, and then I realised that I was going to have to, like, climb in, like go up the ladder, like nude, and then just like cock a leg over. It's like, oh, here's a new perspective. Have you thought about this before? And then just this big arse coming down the...
It was like my own personalised moon landing.
Like, welcome to this.
This is definitely not being faked by the government.
That's when you signed on for the relationship visa, wasn't it? On the spot. Anne, what is the most annoying thing about Lloyd? Easy. I got heaps. Snoring, eating. Oh, you don't drive? That's annoying.
It's not that I'm unable to drive because I'm...
You don't try. You haven't learned. You can just learn.
I'm scared because I've crashed so many different things. Like when I've crashed a quad bike, a jet ski, which is pretty impressive because like you're on the water. It's fuck all to bump into.
Were you in Perth?
I crashed a camel.
What?
Yeah. I went on holiday to Egypt, right, on my own, and I was bored. I was bored in the hotel, and they were like, "Oh, we do like day trips from the hotel," and I decided I would go on like a snorkeling trip, right? And then this guy, he like meets me in like a 4x4, and he drives for like 2 hours, and then he stops in the middle of the desert, and he was like, "Get out." And I got out, and I was like, I don't know much about snorkeling, but I think you've really fucked this up, mate. And he said, no, what happens now is you ride on a camel to go to the sea, and then you can go snorkeling. And I didn't want to ride on a camel, but like it was the only way to get there. And I'm on the camel, like a line of camels is called a caravan, and he says to me...
Oh, thanks.
He says to me...
Caravan. Sorry, keep going.
Can we edit out the racist heckling command? Thank you.
Caravan. Go on, sorry.
He's like, your camel is fine, but there's all these other wild camels about the sand dunes. Like, stay away from them, you know? They're aggressive and they're dangerous. They're not used to being around people. And I was like saying to the guy, well, whether I get next to them or not, it's not really my choice. Like, it's the camel's choice. And like 2 of these wild camels on the dunes, they really were wild. They started like having sex with each other, like outside.
Yeah, well, what do you mean?
Oh yeah, I guess that's not that wild if you're a camel.
No, they weren't at the Hilton.
Anyway, my camel, he decides he'd like to get involved, and he breaks away from the caravan, and then he starts galloping towards these 2 shagging camels. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever been on the back of a camel, hurtling towards 2 other camels in the midst of aggressive sexual congress, and was suddenly struck by the realization, I'm about to be involved in a foursome. As I'm getting nearer and nearer, I just made like a split-second decision. I threw my arms around the camel's neck, and then I jumped off my camel. And I was hoping that my momentum would like tip over the camel. I just figured like in the moment, like I would much rather be like crushed to death by a falling camel than fucked to death by 3 camels. End up on some late night TV documentary. Britain's funniest animal rape deaths.
All right, one more question. One more here. All right, this one. So, super couples have to have a nickname, like Brangelina and Kimmy. What's that? Kimye.
Yeah, 2 bad choices, those, because neither of those couples are together anymore.
Kim and Kanye.
Yes.
Kimye. Okay, sorry. What is yours? I think Ledo, because I get called Edo, and there's like LLEEDDOO, like a lot of... Hashtag Leto, greatest show I've ever seen. That kind of thing.
No, I think annoyed. Annoyed. We're annoyed.
Melbourne, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for coming out.
You guys have been amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
I can't tell you what it means to be back